will check into the game in place of Onienso now. Ziegler throws it into James, right back to Ziegler. Ziegler launches a three from the top of the key, comes up short, rebounded by Shepard. It's over. Kentucky is the king of Rocky Top. 85-81. The Cats take down a fifth-ranked Tennessee team on its home court for the second year in a row.
What is up, Big Blue Nation? Oh my gosh. Where to even start? What a win on the road in Knoxville for the Kentucky Wildcats as they put up 85 against the Volunteers defense and play a heck of a defensive game themselves. All the credit to the Cats and Coach Cal and that staff for putting together a rather dominating performance. The last minute, we've got to work on our end of game. I'm giddy, as you can tell, man. I'm so giddy because I'm going to be bouncing around all over the place here. But oh my gosh, I'm giddy because the amount of crap talk that I've received from Tennessee fans this year. This just puts the icing on the cake for the Cats going down there and taking care of business. Tennessee with their best season in a very long time. And you still go beat them in their own building, send all the Vols fans back to their houses with sad look on their face. Nothing better. Nothing better than winning in your rival's arena. It's just so sweet, man. And the way we did it. The Cats went out and beat Tennessee at their own game. Beat them at Tennessee's own game. I thought Kentucky was the more physical team all game long. Tennessee, I didn't think they knew what to do with it, to be honest with you. Tennessee is used to being the aggressor. And especially on the defensive end, the Cats were all over the place all night long, especially in that first half. That first half, you could not have played defense any better than the Cats did in the first half. And Connect, of course, like I said last week, I predicted Connect to go off and us win. So that happened. Also, not to pat myself on the back, about a month back, said we would end on a 5-game winning streak. And folks, we're one fluke buzzer beater away from ending this season with a 7 or 8 game win streak. So the Cats, as long as Auburn beats Georgia tonight at home, the Cats will lock up the number 2 seed and get the winner of Texas A&M and Ole Miss. Texas A&M and Ole Miss played today. Texas A&M absolutely took it to them. I'm ready for March. That's it. I'll be in Nashville this week. I'm so grateful that I can go down there Thursday and not have to stress about us playing. We get the double bye. To get second place in the conference is just huge. With the up and downs this team has had, to bring it home in second place is huge. And you've beat arguably the 3 best teams in the conference other than you, in my opinion. Auburn, Alabama, and Tennessee. 2 of those on the road. Those are huge wins. This also, as far as conference tournament seeding, helps because we locked down the double bye, but also helps your NCAA tournament seeding and potentially knocks Tennessee out of getting a 1 seed. So a huge, huge deal. At the beginning of the week, I thought we would get more help from other teams. So I wasn't banking all this game as a must-have, a must-win. But when it came down to it, nobody helped us out by beating teams that we needed to lose. But the Cats still find a way to go down to Knoxville. And, like I said, I felt like dominated the game, especially dominated the second half. There at the beginning of the second half, Tennessee made a push, but about midway through, just an incredible defensive and offensive performance. I thought everybody that hit the floor played well besides, I'm not going to single anybody out. We're not singling anybody out, but everybody that played had an impact. Even when Trey Mitchell came in at the end to sub offense, defense with guys, he didn't turn the ball over. He got the ball to where it was needed. Even Aduthiero and Hugo, who didn't score a point, made a huge difference on the defensive end. Stuff that you're not going to see in the box score. Aduthiero, man, You will see 6 boards on the box score, and every one of them was earned. He would get up and he was a rebounding machine while he was in there. Hugo also 6 boards, but he had several block shots. So huge game for the Cats. Um, and man, Reed Shepherd. He's the homegrown London, Kentucky pride, if you will. 27 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 9 of 14 shooting, 7 of 10 from 3. Can you believe that? My goodness. He shot lights out. And if they were making a huge deal about Connect's performance. Man, if Reed had an inch of space, it was going in. He is just one bad guy, man. He's deadly on the floor. So I love seeing Reed get his. I still thought he passed up several shots that he could have had and that were good looks. But, he's such a selfless guy, selfless player. He had 5 assists. And Antonio Reeves. It's a given he's getting 20, but he ends with 27 points, 7 rebounds, and just does an awesome job. Down the stretch, we went back to the floppy action, and, normally I'm against that, but my goodness, nobody's been able to stop it this year when we went to it. Went to it against Auburn and went to it tonight. That's just 2 examples that jump out at me. I'm sure we've done it plenty more. I think we did some against Arkansas. But those Antonio Reeves off screens, and it's not even off screens and he has to catch and shoot it. It's off screens and, he can drive to the basket and lay it in. He can shoot a floater. He can shoot a mid-range. He has all these options. And as a team, it's just a deadly combination. So, really, I'm so sad to see the season end. I know we still got March, but I really love this team. I've loved watching them. They've brought the offensive firepower back to Kentucky basketball. Coach Cal's done a great job. You hear the haters and all that. I'm steering away from that tonight because there's nothing you can say. They've won 5 in a row going into March. He told you all he was built for March. You got to listen to the guy. We've got to trust Cal. Let him coach this team. And he's done a great job. And shout out to Justin Edwards, man. He keeps on getting better every time he's on the floor. Now, he'll have an off game every once in a while, but everyone does. Justin Edwards, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 4 of 7 from 3. He was on fire in that first half. He was a huge reason. And, he played on Connect. He played defense most of the time on Connect. He gave up several points to him, but nobody has been able to guard him this year. If you all watch college basketball, the dude is deadly from 3. Or driving. He drove on us a couple times. I thought Justin Edwards did I wouldn't say a great job, but he did a good enough job to let Connect get his, and everybody else did a good enough job to not let the other people go off. You saw in Rupp, everybody for Tennessee was getting theirs. Well, that wasn't the case tonight. Connect had 40. They scored 81 as a team. And I thought that was the key to victory. Shut down everybody else. Chin Coleman said that in a press conference a couple weeks back. Keep the irrelevant people irrelevant. Tonight we did that. Tonight, Connect went out and got his. He's a star. He will be a star in March Madness. But it didn't matter tonight. The Cats get the victory on the road in Knoxville. 15 of 29 from 3. I thought that was huge. I've been saying all year long the magic number is 25 threes a game. I'll take 29 when they're going down at the rate that they were going down. 27 of 59 from the floor, 46%. So just a huge performance. The Cats came in and they took care of business. I feel like there was any time this year that we have been underdogs, I feel like Cal gets these guys ready to play. And that's been something that has been awesome to see because I think it fires Cal up himself. And it fired me up as a fan. How could you not? It was so disrespectful to go into that game a 7.5, 8.5 point underdog. After winning on the road at Auburn, winning on the road at Mississippi State, winning at Florida earlier in the year, it seemed like they played better on the road. And if you're a Kentucky fan and you hammered the money line, that's awesome. I'm proud for you all, glad for you all. You all deserve it for taking I don't even think it was a chance. I predicted us to win. Um, the score. What did I say on the episode last time? I think the score was close. I think I had us by 3 or 4. And I think it was in the 80s, maybe it was in the 70s. You all have to go back and listen. But I think my score was pretty close. Now that I think about it, I've had so much going on after the game, talking to everybody. Shout out to everybody who's listening, who I also have talked to, whether it be on the phone or messaging, texting, whatever. I I haven't even had time to think about the score, but it was close to what I said. I'm pretty sure. But speaking of after the game, I want to take a minute because I've got some family that are Tennessee fans who probably won't listen to this because they're salty, first of all, and they're not Kentucky fans. So, but one of these times y'all will listen to me when I say the Cats are going to beat you on basketball one of these days. And you all hate on me all year long. I've heard about it all year, and y'all block me when I send 3 messages in the group chat. You all got to be tougher than that. If y'all are going to talk constantly all year long, I'm publicly telling you, you have got to not be so soft as to block me after 3 text messages saying go Cats, etc. The point in all this is Reed Shepherd is Dalton Connect's father, just so you all know. He's the city of Knoxville's father in general. He proved that tonight. And, if you're like me and you look at this SEC tournament bracket, I think Kentucky and Tennessee ends up in the SEC championship. And I hope I do not eat my words then. But for tonight and tonight only, I'm getting mine in. I think it would be, I think it would be down to the wire in the SEC tournament too. And I would be there. And I don't even want to think about my heart rate or anything at this point. But that is something that can potentially happen. They're the 1 and 2 seed in the SEC tournament. So if both went out like they're supposed to do, they would meet in the championship. And you talk about nerves at an all-time high. Now that I'm dishing all this out, we'd have to relive it on Sunday, which ultimately doesn't really matter either way. But I would love to beat them in the SEC title game. I think that would be huge to get 2 quad 1 wins over them in a week. That would be huge for the resume. If you do that, oh my gosh, you could possibly jump up to 2. I think, going into tonight, we were the top 4 almost across the board. Jerry Palm, for some reason, still has us at a 5, which I do not understand. If he has us at a 5 after tonight, that's just bias, in my opinion. He's the only site that I have seen, and I have looked up a ton of bracketology so I can break it down for the podcast. He is the only site, and he writes for CBS Sports, but he is the only bracketologist that I've seen have us as a 5 seed. I still cannot believe that. They showed the graphic where the game was on CBS today. They showed the graphic of the SEC team seeded, and we're still sitting there as a 5. But yet he's the only website that has us as a 5 going into today. So he'll probably have us up to a 4. But I think in reality, I think we're sitting at a 3 seed right now, based on the projections that I've seen. I don't think there was a bigger win than I think that's the best win in college basketball this year. I can't think of another one. North Carolina going into Duke would be a pretty good win. They're up right now as I'm recording, but I don't think that's as good as at Tennessee. South Carolina beat Tennessee at Tennessee, but Tennessee wasn't ranked as high as they are now. So we'll see. But I'm confident. But now I'm confident in the 3 seed as long as we don't lay a stinker in the SEC tournament. If you lose on Friday, like last season, I could see us dropping back down to a 4, but I think that's as low as you're going to get now. I think we're either going to be a 3 or a 4, and if you run the table and you beat Alabama and Tennessee in the SEC tournament, I think there's a heck of a case for you to fit in at that last number 2 seed. So we'll see that. I think, it seems like with Lenardi at least, there's a lot of separation between the 2 and 4 seed. Seems like it'll be hard to unseed the 2 seeds, even if we were to win it. But we'll see. We're definitely in a lot better spot now after beating Tennessee. So about as good as you can as good as you can wish for. Um, we've got a official SEC tournament bracket as long as Auburn beats Georgia at home. Auburn is favored by they were favored by 16. That game, I think that game was at 6:30. People are acting like, oh yeah, Auburn's up by 14 with 13 minutes left. So we're going to assume, barring a collapse, I don't see Auburn losing at home to Georgia, that the bracket is set. And folks, in my opinion, I said going into the week, the 2 seed would be the perfect draw for us. I think it sets up very favorable to go win the whole thing. And that's what we got. That's what the Cats got. They did a heck of a job by winning that game in Knoxville, because if they would have lost, they would have fell to the 5 and would have had to play on Thursday. But we are out of that realm now. We are in the double bye, playing on Friday night at 7 o'clock on SEC Network. So that is official as long as Auburn takes care of business. So I'm going to go through the SEC tournament bracket. I'm going to give my predictions. You all give me yours. Like the interaction with the all-time fun starting 5 was a very good addition to the podcast. So I thought that went well. You all let me know what you think about this SEC tournament bracket. Wednesday night, you've got Arkansas and Vandy. I heard Vandy beat Florida. I haven't confirmed that, but I saw it pop up on my phone from somebody. So if that is true, that's a huge win for Vandy. And totally shocking, to be honest with you. I know it was at Vandy, but man, that's a shock. And the way Arkansas is playing right now, that's another thing about not being the 5. I did not want to see Arkansas in the second round. To be honest with you, the way they're playing, I've got Arkansas beating Vandy, going on to play South Carolina, and then you've got Georgia and Missouri the second game. Dare I say, Missouri hasn't won a conference game. They played tonight against LSU. Give me Missouri. I struggle. I know they don't guard anybody, but neither does Georgia. All right, so back to predictions. Like I said, I took Missouri. They shouldn't be as bad as they are. So second round, kicking off Thursday, Mississippi State and LSU. This is a good matchup, to be honest with you. I think Mississippi State's the better team, and it's definitely their NCAA tournament hopes might be over, losing today to South Carolina at home anyway. But if you're going to make a run, you've got to beat LSU, and then you've got to go upset Tennessee. So I'll take Mississippi State against LSU. Then I picked Arkansas to beat Vandy, so then you have South Carolina and Arkansas, and this is a sneaky game that South Carolina's going to have to bring their A game. And if we were in South Carolina's spot, I would say the same thing. This is what I was worried about. I was worried about having to see Arkansas on that Thursday game because they're playing better now than they have all year long. So I'm going to be the first one to call it. I think Arkansas upsets South Carolina on Thursday and moves into Friday to face Auburn. That's a bold prediction, but it's a prediction. I watched Arkansas play today. They played an amazing 39 minutes of basketball. Then the last minute fell apart. They're up on us late by 9 last week. They fell apart. I think they close out South Carolina. I think they beat them. Could be totally wrong, but I'm giving you my predictions. Then you've got Ole Miss and Texas A&M. Winner goes on to face the Cats. If you watched the game before ours today, it was this matchup. It was at Ole Miss. Texas A&M absolutely ran them off the floor. It was never close. Does that mean that's what's going to happen in Nashville? Absolutely not. I think it'll be close. But I still think A&M is the better team. I think A&M prevails and goes on to face the Cats on Friday night. Florida versus Missouri. Florida dropping one to Vandy today, shockingly. I think Florida wins, though. I just think they're too good. I think their guards are too good to go home that early. I know they got beat today, but maybe it'll wake them up going into SEC tournament play. Tennessee versus Mississippi State. I think Tennessee just has too much firepower. I know Mississippi State beat them at the hump earlier this season, but Tennessee, I think, handles business in Nashville on Friday and moves on to the semifinals. Then you've got Auburn versus Arkansas. You know, I think Auburn. I think this is where Arkansas's run ends. I think they'll be gassed playing 2 games before. So I like Auburn to advance to play Tennessee in the semifinals. The Kentucky and A&M. A&M beat the Cats in overtime at College Station. I think this is the revenge. I think this is revenge time. I think the Cats beat A&M. I don't know if they'll beat them handily, but I think we'll be comfortable going into the last couple minutes. I don't want to jinx us, but I like the Cats in that matchup because one, we're guarding a lot better. Granted, Texas A&M has guys that can go off. They've got Wade Taylor. They've got Tyrese Radford that lit us up. They've got guys. They've got guys that can play. So we will definitely have to bring our A game, regardless of if it's Ole Miss or Texas A&M. Both teams gave us close games. We beat Ole Miss by 12. A&M beat us. So I would love to have a chance at revenge on the Aggies. So I'll take the Cats to move on to Saturday. Then you've got Florida and Alabama. This is a game. I think this will be the game of the tournament, unless Kentucky and Tennessee end up in the title game, which we'll talk about that. But Alabama and Florida has been a barn burner both times they've played this year. They've split meetings, alternate site. Folks, I think Florida's better. I do. I mean, Alabama doesn't play any defense at all. But I could be wrong here. But I think Florida beats Alabama. And I think the Final Four of the SEC tournament is Tennessee, Auburn, Kentucky, and Florida. I think that's your Final Four. And I think Tennessee, man, that Tennessee-Auburn game, that's a tough one on neutral site. Auburn took them down to the wire in Knoxville. It wouldn't surprise me if Auburn won it, but I got to take Tennessee. I mean, they're really, really strong, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So I've got Tennessee in the SEC title game. Kentucky and Florida, we've got to get revenge on these guys for them beating us in Rupp. I was there live, witnessed it. It was one of the most painful losses that I've seen in person. So it's fitting. The game of basketball has a way of coming around, and I think it's making its way back around this time. This matchup might not even happen. It would take an upset for it to even happen. But I like the Cats to beat Florida and move on to the SEC title game against Tennessee. The 1 and 2 seeds. Oh, wow, I'm really going out on a limb. Well, I had a couple upsets. Upsets in the prediction. So Kentucky and Tennessee and Nashville. I'm just thinking about it. I mentioned it at the beginning. That would be one of the craziest environments for a SEC tournament game of all time. I can't remember a time where did Shay's team, did we play Tennessee? That might have been, I don't remember who we played. It might have been Tennessee. Yes, it was. I think it was Tennessee. So, yeah, we have played them before in the championship. But I think this one would have higher stakes because this is Tennessee's best team that I think they've ever had. I think they're better than that Bruce Pearl team that we had the year we had John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins. I think this is really a solid Tennessee team. As much as I don't like the Vols, I can't be totally biased and say, oh, they're terrible. I mean, they're a good team. That's what makes our win today even more impressive. But you talk about all-time environments. If it is Tennessee and Kentucky, both in the top 10 in the rankings, fighting for seeding in the NCAA tournament, one, that is going to be a heck of a ticket to get. Two, the environment would be literally insane. And I don't even want to think about the pressure. I mean, ultimately, it's not an NCAA tournament game. It wouldn't really matter. But just being there, you want to beat Tennessee there in person. So it would be huge. Kentucky, Tennessee, SEC title. If I picked us to get this far, I cannot predict us to lose. And that would have meaning we would have won 8 games in a row going into March Madness. So, sometimes you see, like, for example, in 2012, we lost in the championship against Vandy. go on and win the national title. Sometimes the team needs to take another loss. I don't really know what to think about that philosophy. I mean, do you want to go in winning 8 in a row, or would you rather take a loss? Either way, you've put yourself in a position now. As long as you win that first game, the grand scheme of things, it don't really matter. I mean, it does to us Kentucky fans who want to win the SEC tournament, but I just mean resume building, etc. It doesn't really matter. But I don't want to be in that camp. I definitely want to go down there and win the thing. I haven't witnessed a SEC championship in person. I witnessed us get beat in a very close SEC championship game in 2014 in Atlanta against Florida. That was a painful loss. But I saw us play in one live, but I've never seen us win one. We might not even match up with Tennessee if we make it that far. And Tennessee can say the same thing about us. They might not match up with us if they get that far. But we'll see. These are strictly my predictions. And SEC tournament MVP, I think, is how could you go with anybody else right now besides Reed Sheppard? I mean, the dude, 27 again tonight. Just an incredible performance. I haven't decided yet. You all let me know. Once A&M and Ole Miss play, I might do a little preview episode Thursday night. I don't know if it would be worth it or not. I guess it would be because we don't play till Friday night at 7, so have about 24 hours to digest who we play. I can give you all a quick breakdown. I mean, it'll be a quick episode, but you all let me know what you think. I'll be in a hotel in Nashville after watching basketball all day, so I should have a good look at how the teams looked and things like that as well. I think you all would enjoy that. I know I would enjoy doing it. So, but that's my prediction. Reed Sheppard, SEC tournament MVP, the Cats SEC champions. That might be biased, but at this point, I've been unbiased all year long. Haven't been wrong that much, to be honest. But the big thing is me predicting ending us winning on a 5-game win streak. That's huge for this program, huge for the fan base. And now we go into the SEC tournament of 2. That was the goal going into the day, and they did it. So I can't be more proud of this group. Justin Edwards, Reed Sheppard, Rob Dillingham, Antonio Reeves, man. Antonio Reeves, and I've been on this subject for a while now. He is the most undervalued, underrated Kentucky player that I can remember. He goes out every single game. He will give you a solid 20 points a game, sometimes more. Tonight he had 27, but he is so reliable. And I don't want to jinx the kid because last year against Kansas State, I watched him deliver a terrible performance. But I can't imagine him doing that on a big stage again. I really can't. I can't imagine that because he has been so good this season. And even if his 3-pointer ain't going, he can get to the bucket and make hard contested drives. He can finish and ones. And he's a heck of a free throw shooter. So I cannot say enough about Reeves. And obviously, Reed Sheppard, it goes without saying how good he's been. So I'm very excited for this postseason run. March Madness is here, folks. What a way to start it off. And like I said, I'll probably be back Thursday night for a little preview of whoever we end up playing. I predict we'll play Texas A&M. That's just my thoughts. But we will see. So you all, thank you so much for listening, streaming, listening to the postgame episodes. Everybody seems to really love them. I love doing them, especially when it comes with the expense of beating the Tennessee Vols. With all the crap I get talked to during the year, I'm going to go to bed with a smile on my face tonight for sure. So thank you all for listening. The Cats win at 85-81 in Knoxville and end the regular season with a bang. Now let's go down to Nashville, take care of business, and go into March Madness looking really, really good. And I think this group can do it, to be honest with you. I think this group is built for the SEC tournament and NCAA tournament. I mean, Cal said we're built for March, and so far he ain't lying. I mean, he's not lying. 5 wins in a row to end the regular season. Just including a win at Auburn, at Tennessee, at Mississippi State, like I said earlier in the episode. So thank you all. And we are available on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. I think you all will like the graphic that the podcast is going to have as a background. I really think if you're a big Kentucky fan who likes trash talk in Tennessee, I think you all will like this one that I've got cooked up here. So thank you all so much for listening. As always, go Cats, and you all will hear from me in Nashville. So be ready, be on the lookout for content, new episodes, new Facebook posts, new Twitter posts, everything you all be on the lookout for. I'm really going to enjoy my time down there. The SEC tournament is something that I look forward to every single year. I haven't attended all that much. This will be my third or fourth one, but now that I've started, I went every game last year until we got beat, obviously, but just to go down there Thursday and Friday and watch all the games, it's so fun for me. So I'm a basketball junkie, so that's one of my favorite times of the year. And then, of course, the NCAA tournament. But we'll have our bracket preview and all that as well next week. That'll be fun. So you all tune in, and thank you all for listening. As always, this has been JD's Wildcat World. Go Cats! Way to beat the Vols. Way to beat the stinking Vols. As we send the Vol fans home very, very upset. So, as always, go Cats. Thank you all.